It's time for real questions at the Local Climate Solutions for Africa conference in Cape Town, South Africa. With me is Anada Tiega, Secretary General of the Ramsar Convention. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let me start by asking a very personal question. Imagine we had a 10-year-old girl or boy standing in front of us, and this boy would ask, how will the world look like in 40 years from now, in the year 2050, when I'll be 50? What would your answer be? What would the world look like in 40 years from now?
What I would say is that it will depend on really what the current generation will do. And we are hopeful that because we are now more and more understanding the issue, we will be able to address major challenges so that we can live this world leaving enough water for people, not just on quantity but also quality of water. I'm really concerned about the quality of water. This is a major issue to understand and to address over the next years. If we don't work on the quality of water, we will face, even the current generation will face a lot of problems, and we don't know what will happen 40 years from now for our children and grandchildren. So water quality, water quantity, and the distribution of water over the land will depend on how we use the land. Land use is the key issue. If we do proper land use, then we can hope to leave enough water in quantity and quality for our children.
And indeed, we can't eat computers and we can't drink cell phones. We need still water and air, water to drink, air to breathe, food to eat as humans. And you are right, the water issue is a big one and is sometimes in the discussions overshadowed by the issue of climate change. And while climate is a global common good that we all share, water is more local. There are local watersheds. We talk about local water quality, local water availability. Is this the reason why the United Nations does not have a global convention on water?
Actually, the Ramsar Convention is a global convention dealing with water issue. It's a convention that addresses at the same time ecosystem and water issue. I don't think we need another convention. What we need is to work closely with all partners because water is a cross-cutting issue. It involves not only the government but also the civil society, including the private sector, and water has no substitute. There are so many interests around water that we need partnership. What we really need is to strengthen the Ramsar Convention, which is dealing with wetland ecosystem, which is dealing with all water issues, including actually fresh water, salt water, and also the water that is moving, so river system, coastal area, and the sea. The Ramsar Convention today is addressing water at a basin scale because we understand that if the land is not properly managed, all the impact will be on water issue. And the river will take anything we do as waste to the sea. If we destroy our coastal area, we'll destroy the sea itself. So the connectivity issue is very important for us. And the Ramsar Convention is looking at the way we can address the connectivity issue because water has no substitute. We cannot change it. We cannot have anything that can provide the same value as water. And biodiversity need water. To address also climate change issue, to adapt to climate change, we have to manage water. We cannot control nature. We have to manage it. We have to manage the system. We cannot control it. For instance, flooding. We cannot control flooding. It will happen. What we have to do is to understand how it happens and manage it properly. If, for instance, people build houses on floodplain, they will be flooded. And sometimes people are looking at solution just at local level. It's not enough. We have to look at it as a bigger picture at the basin level because quite often the solution are not just at the local level. Sometimes the root causes of the problem come from upstream. And if we don't look at the big picture, we don't work with all interested interests, from upstream to downstream, we cannot not find the solution. So to make sure that we address the issue, we need to understand upstream interest, downstream interest. Look at, for instance, the Mississippi River and the Missouri system. There are 92 cities along the river system. So even if we have a problem at one city, we cannot solve it just looking at the local level. We have to look at the whole system if we want to address the water issue.
When you look at all these activities that need to be done and how they would need to be done and who is doing what, do you think you personally and your work has made a difference?
I can say yes, but not enough. There are so many things to address. What we need is partnership. There is no single organization, no single person that can address the issue alone. We need partnership, and this is why actually ICLEI is very important for us, because you are dealing with cities, and cities are now more and more big player in the whole system. Ecological, economic, social, cultural, everything includes cities. So we need partnership. What is needed from us is to build this partnership with those big players like cities, and also to make sure that all private companies understand also that they need water, they need ecosystem. We all need ecosystem, healthy ecosystem to become healthy, and also we need those ecosystems to get enough energy. We need those ecosystems to get food. We need those ecosystems to get drinking water. We need those ecosystems to survive and to adapt to climate change, because climate change issue is felt through water. Too much water on one side, none of it on the other side. So we need to understand all of that. What we have done has come with some solution, but it's not enough. We need to increase the Ramsar community to make sure that all players, because water is a cross-cutting issue, all people who need water, who need ecosystem, who need biodiversity, who need energy, understand that we have to work together to bring each one of us what we can to build together.
The ecosystem consists of so many parts, and humans influence the ecosystems in so many ways. And this has led the United Nations to develop more and more conventions. And now we have a multitude of conventions, and consequently there is now talk about a new international environmental governance to maybe make the international governance of global common goods, of issues like water or climate or biodiversity stronger and less separated and less spread around. So what is your vision of a stronger future international environmental governance?
Yes, we discussed about it actually last week. I was attending the UNEP Governing Council and Global Ministerial Environmental Forum. And it was a big issue where we discussed about international environmental governance. We first have to understand what we mean by this international environmental governance. Environment is so broad, and it's, as I said, a cross-cutting issue that we need not only a single organization, but we need all those international organizations, including the United System, the NGOs, the private sector, to work together. So it's important to have this coordination at the United Nations. It's important. It's clear. It's important to have strategy, to have policy, but then to implement, it's just it cannot be done by a single organization. Implementation has to be done by so many organizations. And we have also discussed the issue of establishing a platform for intergovernmental policy on biodiversity and ecosystem services. Because today we have so many institutions doing research, but there is no enough coordination to take this research, to translate it into action. For instance, the Ramsar Convention, we have a scientific panel which is dealing with science, helping us to know about what are wetlands, what are associated with wetlands. We have a lot of information, but now we need to translate this information into action. How to use it? We know what to do, but we don't know still how to do it. And to do it, we think we need case studies. Today, I heard about what cities are doing. For instance, looking at what the city are doing, we'll better understand how they are doing it and what is missing, and then to bring it to them so that they can do it better. So this platform for intergovernmental policy, science and policy on biodiversity and ecosystem services is very important. It's something similar to the IPPC, which is dealing with climate change, to have all scientists working together to have a better understanding of what is happening in terms of global understanding of the ecosystem services. Each ecosystem provides some service. How can we have enough science to help the policymaker to use this science to translate it into action? This again requires partnership. So the issue is really partnership.
The United Nations will continue their climate negotiations after Copenhagen and Cancun in Durban at the so-called COP17 in South Africa later this year. What is your expectation of the outcomes of this particular United Nations climate conference?
I expect that they will make progress. Making progress this means more commitment, and not just commitment in terms of policy, but also how to implement the policy. And this is the question: how to implement the policy. Then they will have to go back and to organize at national level. The issue is national commitment. If we don't have enough national commitment, even if we have enough understanding at global level, it will not be enough. So we need to see how those countries will work together. But negotiation is not enough, even if they come up with some consensus. What we need is action. And to have action, we need really to have good planning at national level that include all the major players. And today, I think the cities are taking a lot of responsibility. And this is very important. I would like to see the city taking more and more responsibility because the decision comes from the cities. And if the cities are really taking the lead, we know that they will understand that the city needs the rest of the land to survive. And if the city are well organized, they will take care of not only the city landscape, but also what is surrounding the city, upstream the city, downstream the city, so that we can have better understanding of how land use again can help us to make progress.
Thank you, Anada Tiega, Secretary General of the Ramsar Convention. This was Time for Real Questions at the Local Climate Solutions for Africa Conference in Cape Town, South Africa.
Thank you.